This week, what you need to know about the 5 proposed HECM changes. Welcome back to the Industry Leader Update. Happy Monday. First, we have 2 good pieces of news. Last month was notable for being the highest number of HECM endorsements in the month of March since 2011. Second, the HECM program is running in the black, or what HUD officials refer to as being a negative credit subsidy. That means that there's no additional appropriations or funds needed from Congress to cover the program's costs or insurance claims. Both of these we can attribute to historically low interest rates and, yes, of course, a record increase in home price appreciation that affects the economic value of the HECM. Now, all that's going to help HUD generate a positive budget proposal for Congress. And then there's a 420-page document that accompanies that budget request. It's called the Congressional Justifications. Now, it explains the rationale for the budget request. It's very detailed, item by item. That document includes 11 proposed legislative changes to the HECM, and those proposals are actually quite tame when you compare them to the previous slate of HECM reforms that were proposed under the Trump administration and then Secretary Ben Carson. They included the outright elimination of HECM to HECM refinances, imagine if that had passed, abolishing the national lending limit, and separating the HECM from FHA's Mutual Mortgage Insurance Fund. So today we're going to briefly recap the 5 most notable proposed changes to the HECM that were announced just over a week ago in that document. And the first is it would clarify that non-borrowing spouse protections only apply to the non-borrowing spouse at the time the loan was originated. So if the borrower remarries, those protections would not apply, but they could be extended by the Secretary at their discretion. Second, HUD proposes to shorten the suspension of an FHA lender in a violation as short as just 1 month. And that's because a 6-month minimum period as it stands today can effectively put a lender out of business. Third is the elimination of the current FHA civil monetary penalty with an annual cap of $2 million. Now, the rationale in that proposal is that would help deter some of the bad actors from choosing just to take the penalty as the cost of doing business instead of remedying a violation. Fourth is the permanent elimination of the present statutory cap of the number of HECM loans that can be insured by FHA. I remember about 15 years ago there was some debate on this, but this cap is routinely waived and renewed each year. This makes sense. Another proposed change would allow FHA to provide foreclosure notices to heirs of a deceased borrower or to a designated third party. That's really good because it's going to help reduce foreclosure delays and prevent further deterioration of the property. And both that's going to help to preserve the home's economic value, which underwrites the loan. Now that, along with effective servicing of loans and assignments, should really help reduce HECM claims and FHA's MMI fund. Also, as a bonus, there is an increased counseling requirement for refinances of HECM loans. The proposal reads as this. Under current law today, prospective borrowers must receive HUD-approved housing counseling to qualify for a HECM loan, except a borrower can waive that requirement for a refinance if it's been less than 5 years since the closing of their current loan. Now, that's for a refinance. Their proposal would extend the counseling requirement to the refinance of a HECM loan obtained within the last 5 years. All things considered, these proposals really do not stand to negatively impact HECM loan volume or the loan's appeal. Now, what are your thoughts on these proposals? You can opine in the comment section below. And you can also share this week's episode on your social media platforms, be it Facebook, LinkedIn, or Twitter. If you are on YouTube, be sure to go up and look for HECM World and then subscribe and hit the notification bell. That way you know whenever we have a new episode. And each and every week, you can catch a reverse mortgage news on the go with HECM World Weekly. And you can also, if you're an Apple user, listen and subscribe on iTunes. By the way, we're the nation's only weekly podcast for reverse mortgage professionals just like yourself. So be sure to check that out as well. Thanks again for joining us. That wraps up this week's episode. And be sure to return next Monday for more reverse mortgage news, commentary, and analysis here at HECM World.